Muy buenas amantes de la brujería, yo soy Harriet Willeva y vamos a seguir con esta reacción a A Very British Witchcraft, una brujería muy británica, documental, en el que se narra la historia de Wicca y parte de la vida de Gerald Gardner, a la que estoy video reaccionando. Así que vamos allá con la segunda parte.
This blend of influences found expression in Gerald's collection of magical objects.
But to see some of these, you have to go to a rather unlikely location.
Se van a ir para Málaga. Correcto. Nos vamos al sur de España porque muchos gardnerianos acabaron aquí, en el sur de España. Cosas de la vida. La Costa del Sol.
Here in pursuit of one of the most significant collections of Wiccan artifacts in the world. And among them is one of the most important Wiccan manuscripts of all.
The owner is John Belham Payne, a property developer now living in Spain.
Please come in. Thank you.
El fallecido John Belham Payne, que bueno, pues vivía en Málaga, en la Costa del Sol. Para quien no lo sepa, la Costa del Sol es de las zonas más turísticas del sur de España y hay muchísimos retirados británicos y alemanes aquí porque la vida es mucho más barata y bueno, pues tienen playa, sol y todo lo que ellos quieren, muchas comodidades, y luego pues está a un tiro de piedra del Reino Unido porque en un momento por el aeropuerto de Málaga se vuelve fácilmente a Londres o a las ciudades principales del Reino Unido.
He is also one of Wicca's senior priests, and in the great tradition of the faith, has had many of Gerald's most prized magical possessions handed down to him.
Wow. Can you talk me through some of Gerald's objects and explain what they were for?
Okay, this was Gerald Gardner's wand, or at least one of them. And he would have used that to cast a circle. The other items here that we have from Gerald is one of his athames.
What is an athame?
It's a ritual knife. We only use an athame for magical purposes.
Oh my.
Obviously, it's phallic, so it would be used for some sort of recreational purpose, I think. Other items of Gerald's are these two crowns. The priestess would wear this one, representing the triple aspects of the moon, and this would be what he would have worn, which was representative of the horn god.
So they're representing goddess and god in the circle.
Goddess and god, absolutely right. Ron, I actually think that's your size. Would you like to try it on?
If you would like me to do so, yes, by all means.
Absolutely. Okay.
It's remarkably comfortable. Gerald was a practical sort of chap. But the real...
He muerto con el comentario de Hatton, en plan, es muy práctico, es muy cómodo. Es que tiene que ser práctico, si no te corta todo el trance, ¿no?
The prize is much too valuable to be kept in John's basement. Worth more than $1 million, it's locked away in a much more secure location.
Now I'm being granted a remarkable privilege. I'm about to see a Wiccan Holy Grail.
Here, in a secure vault in this bank, is one of the most significant and valuable religious documents of the 20th century. This is the foundation text, the closest thing to a Bible, of modern pagan witchcraft.
And never reveal the secrets of the art.
It's called the Book of Shadows.
It's Gerald's own magical workbook, his experimental notes for what Wicca would become. Here Gerald wrote down the original rituals and spells that Wiccans have been using ever since. It's a manual, and like Wicca itself, it remained a work in progress rather than a fixed set of doctrines.
Quiero ver si se parece al mío. Porque, a ver, nosotros tenemos el nuestro, ¿no? Que no puedo enseñar, porque no puedo enseñarlo. De hecho, no se puede enseñar. Esto que vais a ver, bueno, es que fue publicado en los años 60 porque alguien se fue de la lengua. Pero bueno, que este sería el original, ¿no? El que tienen John y Julie. John murió en el 2016, por cierto. Aquí estaba vivo, creo que el documental es del 2011 o una cosa así. Entonces le faltaban unos años para ya, bueno, pues cruzar al otro lado. Julie, quiero recordar que sigue viva. Y sigue en la Costa del Sol, o sea, todo está en la Costa del Sol. Y esto, como veis, es un Banco Sabadell. Y curiosamente, el fin de semana pasado que estuve en el Coven, estuvimos hablando de la vault, del sitio donde estaba esto escondido, de los curiosos. Así que para que veáis qué curioso es que hablo de esto y sale en el documental. Pues nada, cosas.
So Ronald, this is it. This is Gerald Gardner's first and original Book of Shadows. First of all, it's probably the most famous book that there is in the craft. And as far as that is concerned, my take on this book is I think it's as important as owning the original Bible, because it's full of just everything that Gardner learned at that stage from a whole load of different sources.
First, draw a circle with athame and sprinkle with exorcised water. Light candles.
And this is the important part, is this is a book of experiences. This is a book about things that have gone right and some things that have gone wrong.
This is wonderful. It's certainly the oldest Wiccan book surviving in Europe. It's a strange mixture, which I think is classic of Gerald.
Es gracioso porque algunos símbolos sí sé lo que significan. Hay cosas que no, que se ve que son los apuntes de él, pero hay cosas que sí que sé lo que significan.
It's a mixture of a book of actual ritual to be used in the temple and read from. It's also a kind of notebook with odds and ends taken from all sorts of sources.
I call upon the goddess to enlighten the hearts of all whom I call into this circle.
Looking at this gives me two further insights into old Gerald. The first is just his love of beautiful things,
Yes.
his artistry, his love of script,
Yeah.
like his love of wands, like his love of crowns, and also his willingness to adapt.
Dice
To go
calidad,
on
debería
from
decir
one thing
varitas.
to another. This is somebody who's creating a work in progress
Yes.
which other people can pick up and with which they can do things.
And move on from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the exciting thing about the craft, is it never stays still.
In the Book of Shadows, Gerald had written not just a guidebook to the spells and rituals of Wicca, he'd produced a manifesto for a new religion. Wicca had truly been born, and now he was desperate to take it to the masses.
Gerald was now a man in a hurry, desperate to ensure that Wicca didn't die with him. He'd devote the next 10 years to spreading word of it throughout the land, whatever the consequences.
In 1954, Gerald published his essential guide to Wicca, Witchcraft Today. He also opened Britain's first museum of witchcraft on the Isle of Man, and he started to be featured in newspapers looking for a sensational story.
Today the People prints a report that discloses the existence of a repulsive sword-necked priestess go wild.
It was after a series of muckraking tabloid features accusing Gerald of practicing black magic and devil worship that he really got his big break. Gerald was invited to defend himself on Panorama. This would become a definitive TV moment watched by millions that gave the British public their first sight of a real live witch.
Is it true that the dancing takes place as a rule naked?
Yes.
Now why is that?
It's the tradition. It's the order of the goddess. You shall always be naked at my right. And of course, to work magic, you must be naked.
Y es muy práctico estar desnudo en este tipo de circunstancias, porque es muy cómodo. O sea, no es lo mismo ir con las túnicas que estar desnudo. Y os lo digo porque lo he vivido.
Gerald couldn't have hoped for a bigger audience, and even in the face of some provocative questioning, he kept his dignity. Just.
I want to put this to you very frankly. I've been reading your book and I'm tempted to ask you, is it not a fact that these meetings are really very largely sexual orgies?
They're not. Not in the least.
Gerald might have faced derision from the BBC, but 12 million people had just heard about Wicca for the first time.
And what then happens when the circle is drawn?
Well, then, of course, they generally are starting with the dance. Then there's the worship of the gods. then of course it depends what they want to do. If they want to work magic, they work magic.
I think Gerald felt he was on nothing less than a sacred mission, and now he had found his audience.
What he was about was getting this thing planted in as many places as he could possibly bloody well plant it, because he reckoned it was great stuff, and he wanted it to survive.
I would never have come to Wicca and pagan witchcraft.
Yo conozco a Alice Hughes y he estado con ella compartiendo y es amorosísima. Bueno, pues le diré que la tengo en Facebook. Le diré que la he visto en el documental de Hatton. ¡Qué guay!
If he hadn't done that, if he hadn't published a book when some people maybe thought that maybe that wasn't the best idea, I would never be where I am now. He's the one who put it out there and said, no, people should know about this. This is amazing.
Well, thank you very much. Broomsticks, I think, are all waiting.
And through all this, Gerald got his wish. He had become Britain's first modern celebrity witch.
It's like turning the crank handle of an old car, nothing happens then. And then suddenly it sparks into life, And that was what happened in about the mid-50s. And a coven was formed, which kept going, and in fact is still going today.
As Gardner's fame grew, so too did his following. People were writing to him in their hundreds, wanting to become witches. One of his converts who joined him on Panorama was Lois Bourne.
Janet, how old are you?
I'm 29.
And are you a hereditary witch?
Well, I do have witch ancestry, but it's only within the last few years that I have been practicing witchcraft.
How did you find out about Wicca?
I had all these spiritual gifts and I didn't know what to do with them. And eventually I read a book by Gerald Gardner, I think it was called Witchcraft Today, and I wrote to him and I asked him if he could explain these strange things which had happened to me throughout my life. And he said, well, it's very clear to me, my dear, that you are a witch. And of course I burst out laughing. And I said, but do witches really exist except in fairy stories and in mythology? And he said, well, about one person every 8,000 has the gifts so strongly emphasised the way you have it. And he offered to introduce me to a group of witches who would help me and train me.
What makes people take up witchcraft?
Well, it seems to me that we live in a highly mechanised age in which many people have lost their sense of belonging. Witchcraft brings them back to living in harmony with the rhythm and the seasons of the earth, and thereby helps...
Yo creo que esto que dice Lois Bourne aquí, una de las grandes matriarcas de la brujería gardneriana, es una verdad. Y yo creo que es por lo que nos acercamos mucho a la brujería, ¿no? Vivimos en una sociedad muy mecanizada y pues debido a eso es la razón por la que muchos nos acercamos a la brujería. Lois Bourne, por cierto, también murió en el año 2017, como decía antes, en el mismo caso que John Belham Payne, que murió en el 16, ella murió en el 17, y bueno, pues de las poquitas que quedaban ya de las sacerdotisas originales entrenadas por Gardner. Pero bueno, que genial verla aquí, además verla hablando y tan así, ¿no? Y bueno, una pena que partiese porque no la he podido conocer, pero es genial pues verla de esta manera y que haya quedado registrado en un documento audiovisual.
Gerald value publicity so much?
If he didn't indulge in a bit of publicity, apart from his books, how was he going to present this to the world? How was he going to introduce these gods to them? I think he was driven by something outside himself. I think this was his purpose in life. Well, I am convinced that we all come to Earth with a purpose, that there is something that we have to do. And I think that this is what Gerald's purpose was.
Dr. G.B. Gardner, sweeping the crossroads near his home in Castledown, placing the dust in a shoe in which it's taken indoors, is done to simulate sweeping away continuous bad luck.
And it wasn't just women who were drawn to Wicca. Several young men joined Gerald's original coven. One of them was Zachary Cox.
His eyes were bright blue and incredibly glittery eyes. He didn't look mad in any destructive sense, but he looked kind of nicely mad, if you know what I mean. These were the eyes of someone who had only one foot in the world of the commonplace. I don't know how a guy gets into that state, I'm sure, but he'd got into it somehow. He was witchcraft, if you like. The time had come to let this thing go loose and play its part in what was going to happen next. But the really weird thing is it worked.
And at the dawn of the new decade, there was something else in the air that would work in Wicca's favour: social revolution.
Social rebels have taken over in what seems more like an invasion than a revolution, because they've got their own new language.
As the 60s began to swing, Wicca's emphasis on gender equality, nature worship, and sacred sexuality made a perfect fit for the historical moment. It was almost as if Gerald had predicted how the world was about to change.
He was a conduit for something that it was the right time for that to happen.
By the time that Gerald died in 1964, Wicca was on its way to becoming a global faith. And in America, where the counterculture was really rocking society to its core, Gerald's radical new religion exploded into a phenomenon.
Absolutamente.
Throughout the 70s and 80s, Wicca continued its march into the mainstream, helped in no small part by hugely successful cult movies like The Wicker Man, which provided a tantalizing, if inaccurate, glimpse of the pagan faith to cinema goers throughout the world.
Aquí sí es Wicker Man, porque es el hombre de mimbre, y es una tradición que supuestamente se hace en determinados momentos y luego se quema y todo eso.
But as Wicca expanded across the globe, without its eccentric leader, would this very British religion flourish or perish? In Britain today, Gerald Gardner's radical religion, his feminist, eco-friendly, magical faith, has taken its place at the heart of our culture. Where once witches were persecuted and driven underground, today they can be out and proud.
21st century Wicca is plainly a far cry from its roots in the New Forest. The forthcoming census results are expected to show it well up among the top 10 religions in the United Kingdom.
And as the faith has grown, Wiccans have formed campaign groups.
These organisations lobby the government about the ongoing recognition of Wicca and its followers' rights.
La PF que es muy famosa allí por organizar pub moods, o sea, como sitios en bares, ¿no? Donde hablas con la gente y te relacionas y, bueno, muy famoso por los pub moods, la PF. Sí que es verdad, la Pagan Federation. Curiosamente, yo esta mañana estaba leyendo un libro de una autora que ha sido publicada por Avalonia, que se llama Vicky Bramshaw. El libro se llama, está solo en inglés también, se llama Craft of the Wise, el oficio de los sabios, que habla sobre precisamente paganismo y brujería tradicional, Wicca tradicional y demás. Y una de las cosas que habla la autora es precisamente la cantidad de gente que está ahora mismo adherida al paganismo, algunas de las corrientes de paganismo, siendo las más, digo en el Reino Unido, ¿vale? Siendo las más conocidas tanto la Wicca en sí como cualquier otra forma de brujería, como el druidismo, es decir, que el que estuviera Gardner hizo en gran medida o contribuyó en gran medida a la reemergencia de todas estas fes que estaban, bueno, pues consideradas poco menos que tontadas hace un siglo y que ahora pues son de las primeras religiones de un país, ¿no? El impacto que tiene una sola persona, que es capaz de hacer una sola persona a lo largo del tiempo. Y a mí me parece muy guay eso, ¿no? Porque es como devolverle a la gente lo que decía Lois Bourne, el devolverle a la gente ese contacto con la naturaleza en una sociedad pues que estaba como muy alejada de ella.
One of the most prominent and active of these groups is to be found in the modern police service.
I want to find out how Gerald's legacy is influencing policy and changing attitudes within some of our most respected professions. Andrew Pardey is spokesman for the Police Pagan Association. Border Officer Adam Piment represents pagans in the Home Office.
The format we used, the way things are laid out, was brought to us by Gerald Gardner. I don't think we would be doing the same type of thing, casting a circle, calling the quarters, had not Gerald Gardner given to us what he did give. And when we look at it, if I look at Wicca, it's probably the only religion that England has ever given to the world.
Police officers may go in and they may see an altar set up and they may not know whether the possession of a ritual knife falls underneath defences in law or not. And it's simple things like that that just make the police a bit more reassured of how they're dealing with people, but also allows that pagan community to know that they're going to be dealt with fairly just as any other person would.
Y esto hace mucha falta en España, por ejemplo, porque la policía no suele estar muy informada sobre qué es un ritual o qué es un cuchillo ritual, y si vas por la calle con un arma blanca te pueden detener. Entonces el hecho de que haya unos policías que estén especializados en esto, que haya una asociación de policía pagana, que sepan cuál es el aspecto de un cuchillo ritual y que sepan qué es lo que la gente está haciendo, bueno, pues es muy importante. Sobre todo cuando estamos hablando de que, como decía Vicky Bramshaw, es como la 10ª religión más importante o más numerosa del Reino Unido.
And if Gerald's legacy is becoming influential in the UK, in America his radical English faith has infiltrated the very heart of the establishment, the US military.
Roberta Stewart and Reverend Selina Fox are on a mission. Stewart's husband, Sergeant Patrick Stewart, was...
Selina Selina es un amor. Tuve la oportunidad de hablar con ella en una ocasión, es de Estados Unidos, y precisamente ella lidera Circle Sanctuary, Santuario del Círculo, y Circle Sanctuary tiene una emisora de radio que se llama CSNP, Circle Sanctuary Network Podcasts, y es donde yo trabajo en Paganos del Mundo. Es decir, que al final nos conocemos todos porque la comunidad es pequeña y a la que, tanto en España como fuera de España realmente, y fue maravillosa Selina. Yo creo que el momento, a mí se me cayó todo, se me cayeron las bragas un día que hablé con ella y me dice, ¿dónde estás? Y le digo, en España, en el sur de España. Y dice, qué bonito, ¿se ve la luna desde allí? Y le dije, sí, y me dice, muy bien, mira la luna. Digo, vale, mira la luna, y dice, yo estoy mirando la luna, estamos mirando la misma luna, mira. En ese momento fangirlé, porque es que esa mujer es súper famosa. Y bueno, fue un momento fangirl que creo que no olvidaré jamás, porque es que es divina, es divina. Selina es maravillosa.
Killed in combat last September in Afghanistan. The Nevada native was a Bronze Star and Purple Heart recipient. He was also a member of the Wiccan religion, whose symbol is the pentacle.
Stewart was refused a Wiccan memorial because the authorities viewed his faith as a cult and not as a true religion.
I said, where's my husband's plaque? And they indicated that the emblem of our chosen faith was not allowed to be on there.
Since this test case in 2007, the Wiccan pentagram has been a religious symbol officially recognised by the US military and can be carved on the gravestones of service men and women who are killed in the line of duty. Back in the UK, Wicca's evolution shows no sign of slowing down. Indeed, it's almost certainly the fastest growing religion in the country. And what's interesting to me is that it's the younger generation that is leading the march. This is Croydon, South London. Not perhaps the most magical place on the planet.
This weekend, Croydon is hosting the biggest gathering of witches in the world. I've come to Witchfest.
When Gerald Gardner wanted to find witchcraft, he had to do so by getting into a secret coven. Today's would-be witches can do so at the click of a mouse. But do these young people know who Gerald Gardner was?
To me, Gerald is a trailblazer and a revolutionary. He was so brave and courageous in embracing a religion that was so outside of the norm, and finding other people that could join him in that. That's for me what I respect about Wicca. The opportunity to be revolutionary and passionate about spirituality with an absence of orthodoxy.
He inspires me because he was so alive in his own lifetime and vibrant in that. to appreciate how he helped make it more public, and you know, we're all interested in it probably because like of his influence within the witchcraft world.
Gardner's legacy clearly lives on amongst this new generation of witches.
Yo creo que también una de las cosas que pasa con el legado de Gardner es que impulsa mucho a la gente a tener eso que quizá él estaba buscando, que era su propio culto, su propia forma de vivir la espiritualidad. Y yo creo que eso es lo que ha impulsado también a la gran variabilidad de lo que ahora mismo sería la denominación Wicca, la gran cantidad de tradiciones diferentes, la gran cantidad de cultos distintos que existen dentro del gran paraguas que es Wicca. Y creo que en parte es no porque los gardnerianos seamos unos ortodoxos, no, sino precisamente por las mismas características que tenía Gardner. Ha impulsado a que la gente busque la manera de vivir Wicca de otra manera, fuera parte de los que luego, bueno, pues optamos por tener una iniciación formal dentro de un grupo gardneriano, ¿no? Pero me parece muy interesante lo que están diciendo estas chicas, porque casi todas es alabar que Gardner hizo las cosas a su propia manera. Y yo creo que eso siempre es algo interesante cuando te quieres encontrar a ti mismo, y más en algo pues como una fe que no es la más conocida en tu barrio o en tu ciudad, sobre todo teniendo en cuenta que él principalmente lo que tenía a su alrededor era gente cristiana, ¿no? Así que sí, de alguna manera creo que es una inspiración para las nuevas generaciones para encontrar su manera de vivir la espiritualidad.
But have modern Wiccan beliefs stayed true to the original vision of its eccentric creator?
What does paganism mean to you?
To me, paganism is a spiritual path, and it involves reverence for nature.
Wicca means to me finding my spirituality.
Curioso que diga que el paganismo para ella es esto, porque realmente el paganismo, de la manera en la que está definido, es como todo aquel, o lo que se considera, es todo aquel que no sea cristiano. Entonces, fijaros el cambio del significado que hemos pasado a tener, ¿no? De todo el que es habitante del campo, que tiene pues otras costumbres, que era lo que originalmente significaba pagano, a mi espiritualidad basada en la naturaleza, es otro rollo. O sea, viene del mismo lugar, pero ha adquirido un significado completamente distinto del que tenía originalmente. Bueno, en España no, pero tal y como ella lo está planteando en el documental, es así. Aunque bueno, el término viene del latín paganus y significa habitante del campo.
Embodied in a religion that is incorporating a feminine divine.
What would you call it? Is it a religion to you? Is it a spirituality? Is it a craft?
Gracias por hacer esa pregunta, profesor Hatton, porque, por ejemplo, para mí no es una religión, para mí es una práctica o una espiritualidad. Y, bueno, están constantemente hablando de religión, pero para mí no es una religión. Entonces, para otra persona puede que sí lo sea, pero para mí, por ejemplo, no lo es. Entonces, yo agradezco que Hatton haga esta pregunta.
All three.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a craft because we practice witchcraft, and it's a spirituality because it's independent to how we are as individuals and how we explore it within ourselves.
Muy válida.
Whether it's nature, feminism or spirituality that inspires Gardner's young followers, Wicca is about the power of magic. Magic changed Gerald's life. It gave him a vision of a new type of religion, and it drove him to push back the boundaries of the possible.
Magic does work. The fact that sun rises every morning and we're here to see it is magic. The fact that the moon glows big and bright and lights the way in the darkness is magic. And we have that, and we celebrate that, and we hold it very, very dear to our hearts.
It's very difficult to define, but it's so powerful.
A witch on their own can't do that much, but when they get together, they're so powerful.
Oh, sí, estoy tan de acuerdo con Eli. Sí, cuando te juntas, y además se nota mucho el cambio de energía cuando estás solo o sola o cuando estás con más gente. ¡Buah! Pero no os puedo decir, no es el doble, el triple, es exponencial lo que se siente. Es muy guay. Hicimos una vez la prueba porque estábamos pocos para hacer un ritual y en un día pues hubo más gente y se notaba mucho, la energía mucho más, fluía de una manera bestial.
In the course of making this film, I've encountered many people who practice a religion called pagan witchcraft, which to them is clearly as beautiful, transcendental and effective as other faiths are to their believers. And it was brought into the world by a classic English eccentric who managed to publicize a religion of lasting power. It's feminist, it's nature-centered, it seems to give people a great deal of choice. But the single most powerful idea I take away from Wicca is this. Whereas other faiths say, this is what you should feel about the divine, this one says, this is how you can feel divine.
Bueno, yo paro aquí, ha terminado ya el documental, bestial, brutal, la última palabra, la última frase, y creo que resume muy bien, está claro que Hatton es iniciado, porque resume súper bien una cosa que yo siempre digo, ¿no? Y es que no hay dos experiencias iguales, no hay dos brujas iguales o dos brujos iguales, y lo que tú sientas puede ser muy diferente de lo que yo sienta incluso en el mismo culto. Y es magnífico porque además ni siquiera dos wiccanos del mismo coven pueden tener el mismo sentido de la divinidad, ni la misma percepción de lo que está sucediendo en un círculo, ni la misma percepción de lo que ellos consideran los seres superiores o el ser superior o llamarlo X. Así que me parece fantástico porque efectivamente no se trata tanto de una ortodoxia con unas normas, con unas pautas de esto es en lo que tienes que creer, sino que se trata más bien de, bueno, cómo lo puedes sentir. Y me parece genial que haya cerrado el documental, y bueno, por lo que veo es de Hatton específicamente, que haya cerrado el documental con esto, porque es muy necesario. Es necesario preguntarse qué es Wicca, y todo el mundo dice, es una religión, y dices, bueno, ¿hasta qué punto es una religión? Yo, por ejemplo, para eso prefiero decir que es una ortopraxia, la verdad. Y bueno, esto ha sido todo por hoy. Espero que os haya gustado. Yo me lo he pasado muy bien. Creo que ha sido muy guay. He visto muchas caras conocidas. Y bueno, nos vemos en el próximo vídeo. Un saludo y un besazo. ¡Mua!